I'm in the business I'm in because of junior civics class in School 43 in Indianapolis. I'm trying to be a good citizen. And so I do want to talk about social issues.
How do you encourage reading and writing? Do you suggest keep a journal? That used to be one of the #1 rules of a writer. You're going to keep a journal, and things will happen within that journal. But again, it's a relationship and a working relationship.
Yeah, but I think the value of a journal is simply that you write a lot, and it's just like, yeah, they'll say keep a journal, because that means you write every day. In the generation before mine, American writers mostly came up through journalism and often hadn't even finished high school, as Mark Twain or Ring Lardner or any of those people.
Warning voice that comes in at night and repeats, yells in my ear, don't you know you're full, no chance to win. Use your mentality, wake up to your reality. Just before I begin, because I've got you.
I always like flipping through Popeye magazine as a source of inspiration. It's nice to have this. Can't wait to fully look through this. Hey, hi, hello, it's your boy Nate. I read books because reading is sexy, and if you're not reading, you're not sexy. Quick life update. The days have been so peopled, like good people, but not much has happened, so I am a bit afraid that I don't have enough vlog content, but it's been real nice being with good people. I have been reading, but it's all a bit scattered, not many thoughts. I guess I can talk about my first read of February. Is The Lover by Marguerite Duras. This was a reread for me. I read this years ago, and I couldn't get over the fact that it was so yellow fevery, and this is probably because I had read it when I was taking 2 or 3 Asian American studies classes and an Asian American lit class. So I was just like, ugh, this just put a bad taste in my mouth. Until I read it again this time around, and realized it is much more beyond the lust and love that our young Duras feels. It's about loss, grief, how do we replace those feelings of loss and grief with love, and that love lost, and comparing the two losses, but also just how we are containers and continuous containers of loss. Because to live is essentially to lose as well. We can't help that things die, days end, people end. Whether that be through death, or through partings, or through the way the world works sometimes. People come, people go. They must. And I think that's just how the world is in orbit, constantly. And there's such intense feelings in here that our young narrator experiences at such a young age as well. Really made me think about the totality of girlhood, those pubescent feelings, and everything collected together, and just the way that the prose moves too. Is just beautifully collected. I'm not particularly fond of the scenes that are painted in Vietnam. They feel a bit like caricature, but I enjoyed the rhythm of this. It goes, on, they are forests full of pestilence, regions of great heat. There's no healthy wind from the sea. There's the stagnant din of mosquitoes, dead children, rain every day. Just beautiful rhythms, just the way that Duras is able to pinpoint specific images and collect them in a way to create this great scope of micro-macro that is just beautifully done. I like that we begin with neither subject or verb. We get on, and then we get the image of forests, something grand, great heat. There's a feeling there. Then we get nature again. We have no healthy wind from the sea. We get both wind and sea. There's this sweepingness to it all. Stagnant din of mosquitoes. Very tiny things. Dead children. Bold image. and then rain every day. We go back to nature. And just those very specific images put together create this colossal immensity to perhaps the way a young person feels through puberty. There's just these immense feelings that one does not know what to do with, but they are there in their microcosms and macrocosms that, again, just add up to the totality of teenhood, of this particular girlhood. Yeah, much more respect for this now. Also because it's about writing, too, and finding your own voice and writing through everything, and it was a good time around. I think I gave it 3 stars, but I might have to bump it up to 4. It's great. Don't you love rereads? Then, I just started Chloe Caldwell's Women. This was sent to me by Harper Perennial. I'm not very far into it. With the foreword by Katie Heaney, I see that this is a strong lesbian text. So, for all my butch women out there, let's go. Let's go. It's fun, it's very New York, it's about women and juggling life, love, lust, and all of that jazz. And I'm into that. I love that. So far, so fine. I'm having an okay time with this one. Women on Women. Today, let me see. Because I've been so peopled, I actually haven't had any great time to myself. So I think today I'm gonna do the huge, and I'm pretty sure you've already seen it before, so I'm gonna have a headache just editing what will soon to be edited. Does that make sense? I'm going to the 2 same stores that I went to a few weeks ago because it's not that I want to change my identity through my glasses. Let it be known, though, that I've had these glasses and this style for about half my lifetime. This is just me. This is my identity. This is who I am. It's just what it is. I keep constantly thinking about, like, needing a change. Maybe because we're too early into the new year, and maybe that's what it is. And maybe I actually don't need to buy a pair of glasses, but I'm gonna have a look. I'm gonna have a look-see. And then there's this bag that I'm thinking about. Because you know me, I'm the Carrie Bradshaw of bags. I'm thinking about this handbag from Asoy, great mid-range bag brand, and yeah, I've been thinking about it. Because as much as I love this bag, honestly, it should be my top 10 favorite things of 2024, because I've used this pretty much every day for work. If it's not a giant tote, it's this. Yeah, I just love this bag so much. Just the way it slouches and holds up, and the buckle detail there, it's just perfect. Carries a 13-inch MacBook, if anyone needs to know. This is by Other Tempo, which I think you can find on W Concept. If I have a link, I'll have it downstairs. They do it also this, like, beautiful chocolate brown that I was debating on getting. I was just like, do I need a bag in 2 different colors? But yeah, I love this one so much. Just the way that it slouches on the body and the way it holds up, just its shape is just gorgeous. But yeah, I've been thinking about this other leather handbag, almost tote-ish, and there's this beautiful buckle detail that I just... either it's very trendy right now because Prada did it, and a few other brands are doing it. I'm just like, ugh. Is it too trendy? Am I just feeding into trend? I don't know. So I'm just gonna look, take pictures, see how I feel about it, essentially. Yeah, go to this cafe that recently opened. They're doing a soft opening today, so I thought I might stop by and check it out. And I think I'll do that first, because I'd like to get some journaling and writing done, and honestly, I do need to finish a few videos. We got some quote-unquote work to do. I just wanted to say, as always, thank you for being here. Yeah, does anyone ever think about, like, the little life that you're living, and then you've created this tiny window, either it be like an Instagram story or a post or something stupid on TikTok, and you've, like, allowed this little window for people to come look and see? Yeah, I just posted my February newsletter about just windows and light being let in, and yeah, I was just thinking about, like, how beautiful it is to see light come in, to look through windows, and to have the chance to see these different parts of people. Anyway, that was for February, and I think I just want to do that more. I'm gonna be a peeping Tom! Look through people's windows! Letting light in, I think. Keeping the window open. Welcoming chance, I think. Anyway, I've gone on for too long. Let's get this show on the road.
I'm in the business I'm in because of junior civics class in School 43 in Indianapolis. I'm trying to be a good citizen. And so I do want to talk about social issues. Is people who have no interest in our society annoy me.
say yeah. Long time. Long time ago.
Hazelnut latte. It's like soaking in oil. My boss got me a hotdog, which is like a Korean pancake. It's like an inverted pancake where the syrup and stuff is inside instead of outside. McGriddles, anybody? McGriddles? Yeah, it looks like this. And inside is like honey, sugar, and nuts. Well, that was just a bite of dough. This is from yesterday, so it's just been soaking in its own oil. Wild. Anyway, hi, hello. Not a whole lot to update on. I'm still reading the same books, y'all. I'm still reading Women by Chloe Caldwell. I'm nearly done. I'm probably gonna finish it today. But you know what? I'm just gonna leave you with my final thoughts here. It's sort of written in journal entry-esque bits about a lesbian and her lovings, in and out, lots of yearning, lots of missing, lots of how do I come away from this great heartbreak and fill it up with other kinds of love and live with that, sit with it. Do I fuck other people? Do I do the writing that I'm supposed to be doing? Do I look at life directly and try and maneuver my way through everything that comes at me, face value? That's all this is. There's a Fran Lebowitz lookalike in here. Great mentions of other works from Anne Carson, Jeanette Winterson. Yeah, it's just nice. It meanders, there's really no plot, it's just vibes. I'm all for that. All set in New York. How can you not love that? And then on the Kindle, I'm on Luminous by Sylvia Park. This is out by Simon & Schuster, March 11th. By the time this vlog comes out, I think this will already be out. This is a reunified Korea in the future where AI and robots are so integrated into human life that you can mistake them as actual people. It's a siblingship book surrounding the death of their brother, Yo-Yo. I'll leave it there, because I just hit the point where you get the big spoiler, and I was just like, I saw that coming, but wow. Anyway, it's a lot of fun, and I think my final review of it will be, this is my Clara of the Sun. I think that's what it is. Is it Clara of the Sun? Clara and the Sun. I'm gonna use this space for hate speech. Not a big Ishiguro fan, y'all. Kazuo Ishiguro, I think his books are just so dull. And this is just having read Never Let Me Go and Clara and the Sun. Clara and the Sun, I DNF'd it at like 60% because I was just like, oh my god, just get to where you need to get to, Ishiguro. I don't need all this exposition. I've got the heart and soul of our girl Clara, and I don't need no more. But anyway, it's about like a robot, and she's given to this girl and grows up with her, and eventually she gets abandoned, and then, anyway, it takes way too long to where it needs to get to, and I'm just like, great, I love all this like connection and world building that you have, but all that could have been done by like the 30% mark, and you could have made it so much more interesting. And yeah, I do have The Unconsoled with me. I mean, I might as well show you. Look at this super cool vintage copy from Faber & Faber of The Unconsoled. I just love this cover so much. It's brilliant. I don't even know what it's about. I think it's about a piano player, isn't it? Someone on BookTube, he had such an eclectic collection of books that were his favorites, and this was in his list. Ugh, if anyone remembers who he is, let me know, because I would like to credit him. But yeah, he said this was one of his favorite books because it challenged him. He didn't particularly like it at first, but then he couldn't stop thinking about it, and I'm all for those books. I like those books that do challenge us, that do make us not like it, but have us thinking about the construction of the novel, stories in general, how we might approach life differently. All for that. Love all that stuff. And so I have this. I found this, where did I find this? Book Off in Osaka. Last year spring, when I was just bumming out, y'all. I was like unemployed. It was wild. Anyway, this was like, what was this, $2, and I was just like, I must have it. I must have it. And so I have it. Anyway, yeah, I just find his writing to be super dull. I just don't care for it, honestly. Honestly, it's just so boring. You can have interesting stories and not have them be boring, y'all. Please, please. It doesn't need to take you so long to get to the point that you need to get to. Charles Bukowski makes this point about like how dull and boring it takes a writer to get someplace, and then the payoff just isn't there. And I'm just like, oh, I just picked up pants. Oops, there goes women. I had to get these pants tailored, y'all. I was at work. I heard a split, and I was just like, what is that? And I never really found it until later, much later. It's right there, but right at my crotch, y'all. Right at my crotch. I had a hole. And it wasn't until like 2 weeks later, I guess, that I realized that I had a hole. But I love these. They're so great. They're this nice gray color. They fit kind of straight. Got them done for like $2, which is crazy. Yeah, today is really nice because I think I've mentioned it before, but I've been so peopled. So I haven't had like a real good amount of time to myself, and today is one of those days. I'm behind on a bunch of reviews. Yeah, I kind of just want to do home stuff. I finally got around to reading my Popeye magazine. Yeah, I just want to put away my laundry and do stuff that I've been meaning to do. Ah, feels so great. You ever have one of those days? I love it. That's about it. I don't want to ramble on for too long. I think that's enough rambling for now. Stay tuned for whatever this is.
Of my name, and you know wherever I am.
Needed to include mine. Super random and like not at all connected. I wanted to share my new favorite beauty product. This is the Red Camellia.
I got no fingernails for ASMR. Recently got Tenox Slow September. I've been eyeing this one for a while now, and I thought, let's do it. Okay, it says it's musky, woody, and floral. There's a slight musk to it, but it's more refreshing. I think that's where the floral kicks in. Everything feels fresh, but nothing feels like too murky or sweet. There is a gentle sweetness to it, but the sweetness is dry, like a good wine. To the point of almost like leather. You know, I think it is best described as a slow September, something autumnal, but something refreshing, something slightly cozy. They do another one that smells like soap that I like, but that one smells too much like a girl's version of Jacqueline Noir. Also, I only got that because it was on sale, and it never usually is on sale, so it was nice. Life has been really interesting. I'm slightly overwhelmed by a few different things, just like life stuff, and I'm trying to find like a good balance of everything. You know, it's really weird when you get down and dirty to dissecting what fun is. At what point does fun become work? There's that thing where fun becomes work and you like realize, oh, do I want to make it work? Is this just something that's a hobby? Or what is the extension of a hobby? How do I pursue my passions into something that is greater and more wholesome? Never thought I'd be perceived while reading. You know, that wasn't a question that was brought up to me when I was growing up in university or like reading on subways and stuff. Or I guess I wasn't that conscious of it. To put thoughts online and to show myself reading online, and it's something that I do, is kind of strange in a way, but it is my life. I do read a lot, and I only read because reading and writing is how I literally understand the world, how I can pierce through it, if that makes any sense. Like for my mom, Catholicism, Mary Magdalene, Jesus Christ, do it for her, real good. For my brother, it used to be dance, different kinds of dance, mostly hip-hop, expression, right? But for me, it has always been reading and writing. Segway! I did finish Women by Chloe Caldwell. Those early days of the hipster world. Did lesbians have a place? Chloe Caldwell created that space. This moved around a bit in New York during that time that I didn't know of. Caldwell adds like a beautiful afterword to show how this sort of moved quietly within the lesbian space in New York at the time. And I always think that's interesting, how queer literature, as small as it is, finds its ways to people. Oh, what was the book? If I remember the title, I'll have it somewhere. But it was like The Faggots and Their Friends and Other Revolutions or something, which was never published. It was more of like a zine of some sort, and it was just passed around between queer men in the 80s. During the AIDS epidemic, and it's just like pieces of literature like that, and the way it moves and the impacts that it has. It's just so incredible how something small, something singular, and something so plain can move waves of people. People have a remembrance of them. It's just those like tiny niche cultural things that I love so much, and which I love on the internet as well. It's just fun to seek out safe spaces in such very tiny spaces. There's this almost like comfortability with how intimate something is. I think for queer people it's so like hard to find intimacy in a way that makes us feel safe. So when we have that, especially in the form of literature, I think it's really moving. For all my lesbos out there, it's a good one. Pick this one up. Good for February, if you ask me. I'm gonna set you there. Okay, I'm currently still reading. I'm like 20 pages shy, and I think I can just leave you my thoughts here, because they're quite final. This is Notes on Shapeshifting by Gabi Abrão. I follow her on Instagram, and ugh, what a visionary. I love just everything she posts. She just has this like very fungal, experimental, and whimsical mind. It's so great. But collected writing like this, I'm straying off a bit because it is a collection of poetry and also a bit of like essaic work about love and coming out of it. This is for girls who spend too much time on Pinterest, just got out of their first relationship, and discovered Clarice Lispector for the first time, but at like 16 or 17. And the girl who discovers Clarice Lispector at 16 is different from the one that discovers her at, say, 23 or 25 or 27 in that like Greta Gerwig kind of way. Does that make sense to anybody? But yeah, it just feels too whimsical. The way that she talks about her upbringing, like growing up in Calabasas and ditching school. It comes from a place of where, okay, this girl grew up with way too much money and can do so much because she got the money. She got the money. Let me know, y'all. Creating all of this, I still work full time. I got a 9 to 6, Monday through Friday. I have to. It just keeps me stable. Have I ever wanted to become a like full-time influencer? Maybe, but I just don't find it sustainable enough. It's kind of scary. I've freelanced before, and I just can't deal with that instability. instability. It scares me. It really does. I am someone who grew up unstable, so I have to have stability. This is a person who wrote out of great stability and had the time to think about all of these things in that LA kind of way. And you see these people sometimes. It's so strange. LA, much like New York, you can see the divides of class and wealth, but there's this like weird middle part. You don't know whether or not someone leans this tax bracket or the other. You only realize it not through first glance and style, but through the way they speak. And you can definitely tell when it comes out in that way. But I mean, there are beautiful things. So that's why I say this is good for the 16-year-old who had their heart broken for the first time. There's things like romance is a medium, sex is a medium, your body is a medium, your entire life performance is a medium. We have no choice but to express our ever-changing unique state in every context we come into contact with. And we do this. The way we do what we do is always an expression, a form of communication, thus always a medium. Nothing is a static action. Wish-washy things that can be applied to literally anything, but don't mean a great lot. Whereas, say, Lispector's wish-washiness comes from something. I think it actually comes from actual body and actual language, and these uses of mediums that get us someplace, an actual someplace. I feel like it's too murky. The someplace is too murky. It's a swamp. It doesn't bring things into clarity, but it's a lot of dancing and prancing around the bush. And that's that. Still love Gabi for everything that she puts out, but collected writings like this, I just feel like needed a bit more polish. Real quick, y'all. Fireflies Press. I saw these at Skylight Books and then decided to pick them up on my own because I was just like, I don't have room in my luggage to bring things back to Korea. So I got these. I wanted to do more film reading just to better perfect my film writing. I think the way that I write about books is different from the way that I write about films, though they're essentially the same medium in terms of narrative and like telling a story, right? So I decided to pick these up. They do essaic film work, so each person is assigned a film, then they write about it through their personal experience. I have Nick Pinkerton's Words on Goodbye Dragon Inn by Tsai Ming Liang. Yeah, this movie came out in 2003. I don't remember if I've seen this one though, which is great though, because now I can watch the film and then I can read this. But I love his work. I think it's... love his work. Don't know the name of the movies. He's a Malaysian filmmaker, but I've seen The Wayward Cloud, Rebels of the Neon God, The Hole, I believe What Time Is It There? I think that's what I confuse it for. What Time Is It There? And Goodbye Dragon Inn. I confuse for some reason. So good. It's these two teenage boys and they're coming of age. They're grappling with societal issues and a lot of angst, but it's just done in this like really beautiful poetic flow. Liang has this like stretched out meditation to his work that always feels of its time, but also collecting an eternity of time, like collecting histories of place, of person, and seeing that time being carried out in a way from his characters. So I just think he does really interesting work in that way. The Whole, too, is really strange because it's a musical, slightly post-apocalyptic and sci-fi-ish. He does really interesting things. So yeah, excited to do this. I also have Christine Smallwood's La Captive. Oh, Chantal Akerman. Still need to do more Akerman, and it's sad to say, I'm a awful film bro. I haven't seen enough Akerman. I also have Tale of Cinema by Dennis Lim, a look at Hong Sang-soo's film. Hong Sang-soo is crazy. He's a Korean film director. He directs, he writes, he films, he does everything essentially. He produces. He literally makes a film a year, and sometimes even 2 films a year, which is crazy. But it tracks his filmography from 1996 to 2022. Great job, Dennis Lim. Excited to see what this is. I also have Melissa Anderson's Inland Empire. David Lynch, of course. Feature-length film that was shot on a camcorder. I just thought that was funny. He had like this very cheap, like less than $100 camcorder and filmed this movie with starring Laura Dern. That one's odd. Very odd. Excited to do this. Okay, sorry, I'm going quickly now because I gotta go to work soon. Which way am I going to work? Finally, y'all. Blackwell's Order. I got I Who Have Never Known Men. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Heard so many good things about this. It's time for me to do it. Will it also end up in my top 10 like everybody else? Who knows? but excited to get to this because literally everyone has read it and I haven't. So, gotta do it.
pronouncenames.com.
Tupitsyn.
Lastly, I got Masha Tupitsyn's Picture Cycle, published by Semiotext, which I love. If anyone must know, favorite publisher out there, Semiotext. Just does incredibly interesting things. This has ended up in Pato's top books of the year of 2024, and I was like, great. This is more writing about cinema, the moving images, and with crossovers of memory, identity, and spectatorship. Sold, all things that I love. What did I talk about? About being perceived? I think right now I'm like trying to figure out a great balance, work-life balance, and I don't have that right now. But this morning was nice. Little nice 20 or so minutes that I had with you guys. Thanks for listening to me bumble on. Thanks for bearing with me. Okay, bye.
If we treat each other this badly at a time of prosperity and our money, how are we going to treat each other when the trouble comes?
Thank you.